we're going to be covering manholes in Revit. So basically, we're going to create a basic manhole family using metric generic model in Revit. So yeah, it's nothing exciting. It's just a case of replicating some of the details I have downloaded on my side. Without further ado, I think we can start. You're just gonna open up a new family, and we're gonna go with metric generic model and say open. So the first thing is we're just gonna establish our reference planes, which is gonna guide us on how we can create our family. So I'm just gonna place reference planes vertically and horizontally, one on each side. And I'm just gonna extend this. So I'm just gonna extend the middle one, lock it again, extend this one also just to show it's the one that comes with the family. All right, so after this, just gonna change this offset to, let's say, 900 millimeters, and also this one to 900. Do the same thing on this side. This is gonna be 900. And then after that, I'm gonna go to the front elevation. So on the front elevation, I'm just gonna extend this middle reference plane again. And then after that, go to create and say reference plane, place it like that horizontally. And then this one, I'm gonna offset by 705. Select it, and then I'm just gonna copy another one further by 1,000 millimeters, and then another one by 750, and then another one by 500, and then another one by 100 millimeters, another one by 200, and then another one by 85, and then the last one by 85 millimeters. Okay, so let me just extend these ones. Okay, so after this, essentially our manholes will have joints that are running like in an L shape. So what I mean by that is, I think it's going to be easy if I can show you guys when we generate the geometry. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to go to create, and then under forms, we're going to go with revolve. So solid revolve. And after this, I'm just going to say, it's just I'm just going to say axis line. So axis line, I'm going to place it right in the middle like this at 750, 705 millimeter. Then after that, I'm going to go to boundary line. So on the boundary line, I'm just going to generate my geometry. So I'm going to start from this point, take it to the left by, and take it to the right by 900 millimeters. And then I'm going to go up by 705. And then so the thickness of our walls is going to be 200 millimeters. So this one, I'm going to take it to the left by meters, and then up by 100, and then left by 100, and then I'm going to take this down, place it like that. Sorry, place it like this. So after this, from this point, I'm going to go up by, let's say, let's make it 400 millimeters, and then diagonally at perhaps 10 degrees, I'm going to place it like that. Let's make it 5 degrees. I'm going to place it like that. I'm going to say tune extend, and this is what we have. So what you're going to do is, let me just show you when you go to the 3D view. This is our axis. This is our axis line. This is basically our profile. So what we're going to do is, I'm just going to say finish, and then it's gonna create the revolve like that. So if I change the level of detail to fine and then this to realistic, this is how it looks. So I'm just gonna change the material, and I'm gonna assign it concrete, obviously. If I scroll down, I'm gonna load in concrete, apply, and say okay. So this is what we have. And the next thing is, I'm just gonna go back to the front elevation. I'm gonna select this geometry, and then I'm just gonna copy it up, place it like that, but obviously I'm going to say edit revolve, and it's going to allow me to edit the profile. So the boundary line or the profile, I'm just going to emulate the boundaries of our first geometry, which is set like this. So I'm just going to say pick lines, and then I'm just going to extend this towards this point. So I have to make sure this 100 is consistent, this 100 is consistent, and this 100 is consistent. But for these ones, because the sludge will be based around this point, I'm going to have to remove these lines. So this wall is going to be running perfectly like this, horizontally down, and then I'm just going to join it like that. So if I go to the 3D view and say finish, this is how it will look. So, okay, so other than that, it's just a case of copying further up. So I'm just going to copy this one up, and I'm just going to say edit revolve. I'm going to select these lines only, and then I'm just going to reduce it, place it like that, make sure it's 100, make sure it's 100, and yeah, that's perfect. So if I go to the 3D view and say finish, this is how it looks. All right, the next thing is go back to the front elevation, select this, and then you're going to copy this one further, edit revolve. You're going to select these ones, and then you're going to reduce its depth, and then place it perfectly like this. Make sure it's 100 perfect, and make sure it's 100 like this. So 3D view, finish edit mode, and this is how it looks. Okay, so you're gonna go to the front elevation again, and for the top part, it's gonna be much different. So if I select this, and I'm just gonna copy it towards the top, say edit revolve, I'm gonna select this, I'm gonna reduce it, it like that, but this time is going to be very much different. So I'm just going to remove these lines. Actually, yeah, let's remove these lines and say trim and extend. I'm going to trim it, and then it's going to be based like this. So I'm going to say finish, go to the 3D view, and this one is very much basic like this. And then after that, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go to the reference level of my floor plan, press VR for view range, set my view range to unlimited, set my cut plane to 10,000 millimeters, apply, and then OK. And after that, I'm gonna go to create and say extrusion this time. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna say pick lines, and then I'm gonna pick the interior of our circles. So if I say finish edit mode, go to the front elevation, I'm gonna drag this extrusion up just to close it like this. Then go to the 3D view, and this is going to change. Obviously, I'm going to have to assign it concrete as well, and it's going to close like this. But we're not going to stop there. So we're going to add a void just to make access for maintenance and all those things. So I'm going to go to create and say void forms, void extrusion. So the diameter of my void is going to be basically 600 millimeters. So our is going to be 300. So I'm going to select it. I'm going to copy it from this point towards that point, and let me just remove this one. So finish, go to the front elevation. You're going to drag this extrusion towards this point, and then towards that point. To the 3D view, and you're going to say cut, selected void, select this geometry. It's going to cut it like this. So there's access right there. All right. So after this, what you're going to do is we're going to go to the front elevation, and this extrusion, I'm going to select it, copy it, and constrain. I'm going to copy it towards the top, but this time I'm just going to move it. So from this point, I'm going to move it towards this point. Go to the 3D view, and this is basically, actually, let's just remove it. Go to the reference level, and I'm going to say extrusion, select my circle. This one, I think I'm going to make it, so let's make it 500. So it's going to be 1000 millimeters. move it towards this point, say finish, go to the front elevation. I'm gonna drag this extrusion, so it's gonna be 80 millimeters, 85 millimeters in depth. Place it like that, and then select it. I'm gonna copy another one further up, place it like that. All right, so after this, I'm gonna go to the 3D view. I'm gonna change the material to concrete and say okay. And then after this front elevation, select this extrusion. You're gonna drag this extrusion up, go to the 3D view, and then you're gonna say cut. And let me just set this to wireframe. I'm gonna select that extrusion and then select these forms. So that extrusion, these forms, change this to realistic, and then it's gonna cut like this. Perfect. So basically, this is our cover slab, and then this one also is our this is our cobalt slab, and this is our cover slab. And then we're gonna have to create a manual cover. So for that, also we just gonna keep it simple. So I'm gonna go change this to shaded maybe. I'm gonna go to extrusion and say pick lines, and then I'm just gonna set just gonna some lines right there. Actually, for the manual cover, I think we can go with. Actually, it's fine. So we're gonna say pick lines, and I'm just gonna change the material to, let's say, steel. So I'm gonna go with iron, load it in, apply, and say okay. Finish. Go to the front elevation. I'm gonna drag this towards the top, place it like that, and then the thickness I'm just gonna change it to let's make it 50 millimeters. Okay, so I'm gonna place another one. So if we go to the 3D view, this is how it looks. So I think it's fine like this. The level of detail, we can say it's 200, so we're not gonna go into detail. And okay, so after this, I think we're gonna have to create some inlet and outlet access. And in order for us to do that, we're gonna go to the front elevation. So on the front elevation, we're gonna go to create and say void forms and say void extrusion. So on the void extrusion, I'm just gonna place some, I'm gonna offset the line vertically by, let's say, 200 on this side, or let's make it 150. And then I'm gonna go down by 200 this side, so it's gonna be 300 in total. Place it like that. Okay, so I'm gonna go with start and radius arc, place it like that, and then I'm gonna place it like this, and then this, I'm just gonna close it like that. Go to, I'm gonna say finish edit mode, go to the reference level. Let me set this to wireframe. So I'm gonna place another reference plane right on this point, extend it. I'm just gonna mirror it towards the other side. And then that void extrusion, I'm gonna place it right there using these reference planes as my reference and place it like this. And then I'm gonna go to the front elevation again. And then I'm gonna say create void forms, void extrusion. And then I'm gonna say pick lines. And then I'm gonna select this line, and then I'm just gonna mirror it on top, place it like that. Say finish, go to the reference level, and then this one I'm gonna drag it towards that point, and then this side I'm gonna drag it towards this point and then lock it. So go to the 3D view, and it's gonna be cutting like this. Okay, so if I set this to, I'm just gonna change this to graphics display option. I'm gonna set the transparency to, let's say, 40, say apply, okay, just to show you how it looks. So this is how it looks. So I'm just gonna select this extrusion, go to the reference level, and then I'm gonna mirror this towards the other side. Right, so this is how it looks. So let me just change this transparency back, apply, okay. I'm just gonna select all of these, hide, and just to show you how it looks. So this is basically how the access for the inlet and outlet looks. All right, so I'm just gonna reset, And basically, yeah, we are done with our manhole. So if you go to the front elevation, this is very much the details and how it looks. And yeah, I think we are done. The only thing I can do just to make the X, just to make it uh, convenient in terms of connecting the pipes in the Revit workspace, I can go to the front elevation and then I say create, and then under connectors you can say pipe connector and say face. So um, what I can do is I can go to the reference level. So I can make this, name this inlet, this reference plane inlet. This one I can name it outlet. If I go back to the front elevation, say create and say pipe connector, I can say, let's see, sanitary, and then word plane, and then set my reference to inlet and say okay. And then obviously I can just drag it towards the top just to uh, place it perfectly. Just use a reference plane so that it can snap perfectly. Let's remove this. So I'm gonna place a reference plane running across like that, and then let's select this, place it like that. So obviously the diameter of this, I'm gonna change it to, let's say, 300, and it's gonna be perfectly placed like that. Okay, so if we go to the 3D view, this is how it looks. Yeah, I think utility, and then I'm gonna go back to the front elevation, and I'm gonna go to pipe connector again, work plane. This time I'm gonna set my work plane to outlet and say okay, and then it's gonna be placed perfectly like this. So obviously I'm gonna have to adjust it, place it like that. It's set to sanitary. I'm gonna change. Then if I go back to at the back, this is how it's set up. Okay, so if you open Revit Workspace, for instance, so I'm just gonna open up a new construction template. If I go back to that family, I'm just gonna load it in, place it like that. And as you can see, it's gonna create these insertion points for your pipes. So if you select them, you can just create and also this side. You can go to systems, where your systems, and select your pipe. You can change your pipe to sanitary, and then you can just join it right there. Or you can just, let's create a section. It's to find. Let's just remove this. Just connect your pipe right there. Segment we draw from solid to connect. Okay. Yeah, but you get the idea. So you can create your pipes like that. If you go to the 3D view, this is how it basically looks. So I'm just going to change that to realistic. And yeah, this is what we. All right, that's it. That was it. That was the basis of creating a simple manhole using Revit based on the engineering details. So thank you guys for watching. And if you want more exciting projects and tutorials, you can join my VDC membership. And yeah, there's a lot of different topics that I think that can benefit you. And much more thorough work is being covered under the membership. And also, if you want my project files, you can join my Patreon for free, and that's where you can actually get my project files. All right, see you next time. Peace.